Hi everybody, this is Miriam, and we got Jimm from Soul of the Unexplained back, and he's also a member of the Hitchhiker Effect band. Welcome back, Jimm.
Thank you. Good to be back. Good to see you.
Yep.
Hi, everybody.
So, in a couple of weeks, we have an event going on. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, Labor Day. Labor
Mm-hmm.
Day's coming up. No,
Yeah,
obviously,
Labor Day.
obviously we have PhenomeCon 2026 kicks off on the 9th of September and runs
Mm-hmm.
on through the 12th of December, September, excuse me. Yeah, really getting ahead of myself there.
It's my
But
Christmas. My
it's
Christmas.
uh, it's what my calendar year revolves around. I am such a geek and a dork and a spaz when it comes to Phenomicon, and I am proud of the fact I am just counting down the days.
Oh yeah, me too. This I've been attending it since September of 2022, so I think this is my fifth year. I'm not sure.
That's awesome. The conference is entering its sixth year, and this will be my sixth year attending because Roger and I, my the co-creator of the Soul of the Unexplained, he and I attended in September of 2021 during its inaugural year, and
Mhm.
we've gone every year since. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I've been loving it too, and made new friends and stuff. I have a couple friends from California. They come over every year. I've known them since 2018. We met at International Bigfoot Conference that Russell Acord used to
Oh,
host every year in Washington State, and that's how we met. So I know Russell is now in Vernal. He lives in Vernal now, so he's going to be there too this year. Thankfully, last year he didn't get a chance to. This year he can.
yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see both Russ and Maria. Um, I just caught the news a short while ago that Expedition Bigfoot got canceled. I think is what I'd heard, and that just absolutely breaks my heart. I mean that was the show with
Yeah,
Russ and Maria, and when they had Ronnie and of course Bryce. That show I credit with changing my viewpoint on what I thought about Sasquatch. And Russ and Maria they've kind of like, especially Maria has kind of like become a fixture of Phenomicon, and I know I can speak for many other people. We absolutely adore Maria and Russ. They are so cool, and just the presentations that each of them give are just extraordinary. There's such a wealth of knowledge between the two of them, and they're both such fantastic public speakers.
yeah.
I'm excited to see them there.
Oh yeah, me too. I know one time I went to a dinner. Me and Jeff, we were able to watch the Expedition Bigfoot live at the dinner, so which was a lot of fun. That was
Oh, I
Russell
remember
was
hearing about
funny
that.
and everything. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I mean, it's kind of a shame that I didn't hear that they got canceled. That's kind of a pain.
That's what I'd heard. Now I don't know how official that is, and I hope it's not official. But I heard from somebody that would be a good source to know, said that it has not been renewed, and
Hmm.
I'm hoping that somebody else picks it up. So hopefully we're not completely out of hope on that, because I absolutely loved Expedition Bigfoot. I've watched every season, and we were talking about it on my podcast yesterday. You were probably there because I think it was the first year. I think 2022 was the first year that Expedition Bigfoot came to Phenomicon, and that was the year that Russ had several people try walking around with his backpack.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Right,
Yeah.
and it was like insane. I mean, you don't get an appreciation for exactly how heavy that equipment is that Russ and his cameraman Zach had to haul around all over those hills, and that was quite something to see.
I know one of them that carried his back pocket won a gift card because after a few laps around with the
Right.
backpack,
Yep.
I was invited to carry it, but looking at it, I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, that thing looked to be somewhere between 90 and 100 pounds. I mean, that could not have been a light pack. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of which, so PhenomeCon, we got quite a few add-on activities that
Hmm.
are quite interesting. I know the first one they're showing are Voices of Believers, which is a very nice event. I went last year. It was a lot of fun.
That actually is my can't miss
Hmm.
add-on activity that I do every year. I've done it ever since the beginning of PhenomeCon. And for those that don't know what the Voice of the Believers Open Mic and Dinner is, it's an event that you pay extra for. It's not included in your pass that you buy for PhenomeCon.
Yep.
It's only $50, and the cool thing about it is they hold this. It's like this. Dutch oven barbecue dinner served kind of like chuck wagon style, and it is the best food, the best dinner that you can get at PhenomeCon as far as add-on activities go. It is just mouth-watering good, and they
Mac and
hold it in
cheese, everything. Yep.
barbecued ribs, barbecued chicken, barbecue beans, and the best part about it, they have homemade berry cobblers, and it's like seven different varieties. Like they've got apple cobbler, peach, strawberry, blackberry, blueberry. I mean, you name it. And they serve it with homemade vanilla bean ice cream, where it's piping hot. The cobbler is, and it just you get that dollop of uh, vanilla bean ice cream on top of it, and it just starts melting into this absolute gooey mess of awesomeness. And it's so delicious. That alone is worth the price of admission. But the other nice thing about the event, the Voice of the Believers, is after you wrap up dinner, they have a little bonfire set up, and everybody kind of sits around the fire,
Yep.
and it becomes a open mic for people to basically tell the experiences that they've had. Everything from UAP sightings to in the past couple of years, we've even had people that claim to be abductees have told their stories. I have told a story about one of my really freaky shadow being encounters that I had, and Sasquatch sightings and ghost sightings and all kinds of stuff like that. And the cool thing about it, Miriam, and
Mhm.
you experienced this last year, so you know a little bit about it,
Yep.
is if you're somebody that's ever had an experience, and again, whether that's a Bigfoot sighting, UAP sighting, what have you, it's kind of depending on the nature of the experience, it can kind of break your perception of reality, because all of a sudden you have this threshold from where you go from being maybe a casual believer that some of these things might be real to
Hmm.
actually you cross that threshold and you become an experiencer because you have seen it, you've felt it, you are there, it happened to you in that moment. And so when you've never told people about these stories, because let's be honest, these things are still widely stigmatized in our society. When oh, Jim talking about UFOs again. So and as if it's not bad enough that I'm a Raiders fan, which already makes people question my sanity. But that's for a different day. But the great thing is, as you listen to these people tell their stories and tell about their experiences, and some of these experiences you can tell there's a great deal of trauma behind them, and
Yeah.
so it's very harrowing for some of these people to relive and tell these experiences. But the most beautiful thing starts to happen as you watch these people tell their stories, is that you start to gain courage and strength from each other. And in my case, where I had this shadow being encounter that uh, I still to this day don't know how to make sense out of it, but I found the courage to share that experience for the very first time in that setting there at the Voice of the Believers open mic and dinner. And I can't begin to tell you the immense weight that was lifted off my shoulders and my heart as well, because now I've talked about it. And the amazing thing is that it is an absolute safe space. It is a place where there is no judgment. People don't roll their eyes, they don't snicker, they don't laugh at you, because if they do, man, I'm going to give them the ugly side of Brooklyn. But no, in all seriousness, it is a safe space, and it is one of the can't miss events, because what it does for me, that event more than any other add-on event, encapsulates what the true meaning and purpose of PhenomeCon is, which is it's a place for experiencers and believers and curious minds to come together and share their perspectives and to share their experiences. And there is no better setting at PhenomeCon to do this than
Mm-hmm.
at this particular activity, the Voice of the Believer. So I have never missed it a single year. I'm going again this year. Cannot wait. And of course, they hold it in a beautiful state park
Oh
just
yeah.
outside of Vernal called Remember the Maine State Park, and it's in this beautiful red rock canyon, very picturesque, and it's just a short ways down the road. It's like really close to the petroglyphs at McConkey Ranch. So it's just this most perfect setting, beautiful sky, and yeah, I give Voice of the Believers two massive Jimm-sized thumbs up. Absolutely.
Yeah, and everything tastes great over a cook fire too.
Yeah.
I didn't have the
Especially.
cobbler, but I did have something similar to lava cake. I love lava cake, and I had ice cream
Oh,
with it. Like,
yeah.
that was good.
Yep.
That was good.
And they had homemade root beer as well, which was equally delicious.
I
So,
didn't have the
yeah.
homemade root beer. Oh,
Oh yeah.
maybe next time.
It was good.
Okay. I know this other add-on. They're doing a dinner and movie as well. It's I guess people like the Age of Disclosure Spielberg movie, so that's going to be held Friday, September 11th at 7:30.
Yep. That's
So
so yeah, Day of Disclosure. Age of
Day
Disclosure
of Disclosure. Yep.
is the documentary, which they're also doing something at PhenomeCon, which we can talk about later. But yeah, the Disclosure Day add-on activity, it's like $35, and you get dinner, and then you get a private screening of Disclosure Day. And I'm
Hmm.
assuming they're doing it right there at the conference center because they're doing it yeah, that on Friday, the same night that they're doing the Voice of the Believers. So
Yep.
I've seen Disclosure Day. It's a good movie, and if you're offering to feed me for it, hey man, I'm there. And if I wasn't doing the Voice of the Believers, I might contemplate doing the dinner and a movie.
Yeah, sounds interesting. A dinner and a movie. I've already seen the movie though, so late.
Yep, same.
So next is VIP dinner with Tim Gallaudet. So that's Thursday at 7.
Hmm.
And also the same day it'll be the Holzer. I don't know how if I'm pronouncing it right. Holzer
Hey,
Files.
that is like the worst name because I can't pronounce it either. Because and what's worse is if you have like if anybody puts the subtitles on in the video here on YouTube, it's going to come across as you're saying the Hoser files. Like, hey, come on, you hoser. But obviously that it's HOLZ or Z if you happen to be Canadian. So Holzer files, not Hoser. Okay, so step off a. But no, that should be really really good because of course that's a group consisting of Dave Schrader, who is one of the greatest speakers PhenomeCon has ever
He
had.
is. He's
He's
hilarious too.
he's extraordinary. And then you've got also with that group Shane Pittman and Cindy Kazaa, who is
Hmm.
a renowned psychic medium, and all three of them are like a dream team. They're just so fun to watch and listen to, and they've got just a wealth of experiences and knowledge to draw from. Well worth your time to check that out.
I listened to their panel last year. It's
Yeah.
hilarious. Dave kept picking on the younger guy.
Shit.
I
Yeah,
guess one
they're
scene he ended up tripping over and he came out.
yeah.
He kept imitating him. That was
Yeah,
fun.
they gave Shane was getting the business pretty good from him.
Oh yeah. So oops, I scrolled down too fast. So next would be the lovely Melissa Winterton sunrise meditation Friday at 8:30 a.m.
Have you
September.
ever have you ever done one of those with Melissa Miriam?
I've been to her speaking, but I've never been to the meditation now.
Okay, so for those that have never attended anything that Melissa has done, she has such an amazing gift. She's I don't know how to properly articulate it, but the best way that I can describe it for what my experience was is that she's very much like a healer. She's somebody that really helps people with meditation and how to just kind of get in touch with your inner self, as it were. And not really so much in a new agey, like, ooh kind of way, but she has this natural gift and natural ability to help you really sort things out and put things in perspective. And it's an experiential experience, as my good friend and podcast partner John Nyberger said yesterday. Um, it's really the sunrise meditation. If you can get up that early, it is
Hmm.
on Friday. Let's be honest, getting up early on a Friday, who wants to do that? But it is so worth it. It's not a very expensive add-on activity, and the first time that I did the sunrise meditation, just to give you a little bit of background. So my mother had passed away just a few months before PhenomeCon, the year that I went to Melissa's sunrise meditation. And so I had been looking for a way to kind of help, refocus and rebalance myself, cope with some grief and loss and all that kind of thing. And Melissa, through that sunrise meditation, because I wanted to learn how to maybe be better at personal meditation, and she helped me. She helped me in a big way, to the extent that it was life affirming. It was a very life affirming experience to attend both her presentation and the sunrise meditation. So I honestly cannot say enough good things about Melissa Winterton. She is an absolute sweetheart of a woman. Just has such an amazing spirit, and her gift. She wants to share it with anybody that will give her the time. And I strongly encourage everybody, if you have the time and have the opportunity, take full advantage of it.
Hmm. And also coming up on Saturday is the Hitchhiker Band Live. It's in the registration that will be at PhenomeCon. It's free if you can attend it. It's like after the costume party at PhenomeCon. I like the costume party that we have because I dress up every year.
Wait, whoa, time out here. They're
Yeah.
actually inviting that band back.
Yep.
Those foul mouthed mother,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I caught it
Yes.
all on tape too.
Yeah, so yes, Hitchhiker Effect is the new name of the band,
Hmm.
and we are extremely excited. For those of you that don't know me, which is probably most or all of you watching this, I'm fortunate enough to play in Hitchhiker Effect, which is a band that features Dr. Travis Taylor from Skinwalker Ranch, Jay Stratton, the man, the myth, the legend, as well as Micah Hanks, Caleb Hanks, John Nyberger, and we have a new drummer by the name of Rob Nelson. And so we're excited. We're going to be playing, of course, a bunch of classic rock and metal covers, but we also have several original tunes that we've written and actually just released recently. So if you like, classic rock stuff like AC/DC, Metallica, um, Ozzy Osbourne, Van Halen, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
That's the style of the original music that we've written. Travis Taylor is the lead singer on both of these tracks, and you can get him anywhere you have great digital music like Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon. I think it's on Spotify as well. But the band is called Hitchhiker Effect, and the song is called The Tether, and the other song on the release is called I Bet They Rock and Roll. And if you like good hard rock and music, I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. And Linda says, "I know that taco man."
Linda, when are we gonna have tacos? We got to have tacos sometime.
Yeah.
In
Indian
fact,
tacos are the best as well.
they were joking on my podcast yesterday that they need to add an add-on activity at PhenomeCon called Tacos with Jimm. And if any of you
Yeah,
guys know me,
that'll be great.
you know that I'm all about tacos, and I'm like obsessed with tacos. And it's kind of like become a rite of passage for those attending PhenomeCon to come out to the taco truck during the breaks and have
Hmm.
tacos with me. So yeah, tacos are awesome.
That should be an add-on. Yeah, that would be great. And you
Right?
need to talk a lot too, so that'd be great too.
Yeah.
And my favorite is also the Hitchhiker Band effect and the and the costume thing. But I'll keep my costume a secret today, so I'll let you guys know what I dress up as later on.
I that's the nice thing about being in the band is I don't have to wear a costume because I already look pretty scary enough. I mean, I'm usually most people see me at PhenomeCon if they don't know me, they're kind of like afraid to come and say hello because I'm, kind of a big guy. I'm about the same size as Caleb Bench, the security guy, but Caleb's more solid mass than I am. But
Yeah.
trust me, folks, if you're going to PhenomeCon and if you see me, look for the mullet, of course. But I may look scary, but I'm really just a pushover of a teddy bear.
He's a
Unless
star.
you say you don't like tacos, then we're going to have some problems.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you ever tried Indian tacos?
Yes, like Navajo tacos.
Yeah, they're like a fry bread
Oh,
with all
yeah.
the stuff on top.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Now
Homemade.
there's two secret ingredients. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say secret, but there are two essential ingredients before a taco can truly be authentic, and
Mm-hmm.
those two essential ingredients are onions and cilantro. You got to have onions and cilantro, or it's not an authentic taco. It's just that's just the way it is. And Linda, I'm sorry, I know you don't like cilantro. You can give me all your cilantro, and I'll gladly eat it.
Yeah. I recently came back from a powwow. That was my first time attending a powwow, and I sent a recipe to mom. Mom and I would want it. I've been wanting to make fry bread, so we made homemade Indian tacos.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
grass fed
Yeah.
steak on top, like sliced steak on top. We
Heck
had
yeah.
grown locally grown kale and shredded
Mm.
cheese.
Now that's a proper taco right there. But did you put cilantro and onions on it?
No,
Well,
I might add the
night.
onions. I don't know about cilantro yet.
Ah. Well, it sounds awesome nonetheless. I mean, you had me at steak. Well, you had me at tacos. So that's all you got to say. Just Jim,
Yeah,
tacos. Okay.
especially if it's grass fed and carefully sliced steak is very good.
Oh heavens, yes.
Okay, next is a book publishing 101 workshop with Richard Estep.
S step.
S
Yep.
Estep. With
Mm-hmm.
it's happening Wednesday, September 9th at 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And again on Saturday is one of my favorites, the rocket launch with the Skinwalker Ranch cast.
Oh yeah. That one is literally, quite literally, a blast to
Oh
attend.
yeah, it is.
Ha 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 ha. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Try the veal, folks.
I know during the rocket launch you can put like whatever you want inside the rocket, and it'll before it launches. So that I did that
Mm-hmm.
once, but I'm not doing it this year though.
I I've had him send up some guitar picks for me, and I forget what I gave him last year. I think last year I gave him a thing of Pez to put in there.
Yeah, I
So
had a
yeah,
pair of
it's kind of cool.
earrings that I wear now that have gone up in a rocket too.
Cool. That's awesome.
Hmm. So another Saturday is, of course, we got Bryant's VIP lunch with Bryant Dragon Arnold.
Yep.
Saturday, September 12th at 11:45 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And of
Yep.
course, my favorite is the Out of This World Dance Party closing reception with the costume. That's kind of like the costume party. It's
Right.
free entrance with PhenomeCon registration. That's the last day of PhenomeCon, Saturday at 7:30.
Now the only complaint I have about that, and I mentioned this in my podcast yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
they don't play enough polka. I mean, come on, right? I mean, granted, they're playing hip hop and great electronic music. They'll play The Weeknd and Taylor Swift, and they'll play some 80s and 70s stuff, like some disco stuff. But come on, guys, where's the polka? You can't have a proper party without some acid polka, right?
Okay.
Maybe
Well,
not.
maybe you can request the DJ to play that. I don't know.
No,
I know
I
you can
wouldn't. I wouldn't dare.
request. Okay, and Thursday, VIP dinner with Jay Wesley.
Hmm.
And I think the same day, I'll be attending this one, VIP lunch with Jay Stratton. Thursday, 11:45 a.m.
Yep. Yep. Jay is one of my favorite people on the face of the planet, and he's just a wealth of knowledge. And the thing I love about Jay is, there are so many personalities that are in the UAP community, if you will, and some of those personalities are in your face, and they're like, "Hey, come and talk to me." They want to be in the limelight. It's almost like they crave the attention, right? Jay Stratton is the antithesis of that. Jay is a man of very few words. He carries himself in a very dignified, quiet, professional manner. And he's one of those guys that when he finally does say something, you really want to pay attention to what he's saying, because it's usually going to be pretty profound and very relevant to the topic of disclosure and just all that stuff. And how many? I mean, he's the first person that we've had that has had his level of credibility, I guess you would say. I mean, he was the director of the Pentagon's UAP task force. He was
Mm-hmm.
the co-creator of the OSAP program with Jimm. So Jay was right in the thick of it for all those years. And of course, we have his book coming out in October, Out of the Shadows, and that's going to be kind of like his memoirs. And I mean, it's going to be an instant New York Times bestseller, I guarantee it. So I'm excited for that. But more than anything, I'm just excited to see Jay and hang out with him and listen to what he's got to say. His presentation that he's doing on Friday. I don't know if you've taken a look at the schedule for Friday at PhenomeCon, but oh my gosh, how are they ever going to top the schedule for this Friday at PhenomeCon? And Jay, of course, is the first speaker on Friday morning in
Yep.
the main ballroom. And so yeah, Jay, obviously I'm a big fan of Jay. It's an absolute privilege and an honor to be his friend and to be his bandmate, and just yeah, one of my favorite people on the face of the planet.
Yeah, I know Ben Woodruff, he's the biologist of Skinwalker Ranch. He's going to be there the first day as
Yep,
well as first speaker. He's not the first speaker. He's going to be later on. I think 3 p.m. Mountain
three
Standard.
o'clock. 3 o'clock, yeah. And I don't know what your thoughts were last year, Miriam, but Ben
I
filled in
wasn't.
for Eric. He filled in for
Unfortunately, it
Eric
wasn't
Bard
there.
at the last minute. What's that?
Unfortunately, it wasn't there for his first speaking, so I'm going to try to make it this year for his.
Oh, yeah. I got to tell you, Ben's presentation last year, and again, he was a last minute replacement for Eric Bard, who couldn't make it last year.
Mhm.
And Ben's presentation, now bear in mind, again, I've been to every year that they've held PhenomeCon. I've been to every presentation they've given in that main ballroom for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Ben's presentation was easily one of the top three, if not the very best presentation in all those years at PhenomeCon that I've ever heard. And the reason being is that Ben just has this personality. He's such an amazing, engaging public speaker. He makes it, I mean, there's no way you're going to fall asleep during Ben's presentation. He is that good. The audience is just, completely enraptured by the way that he presents his material, and he brings so much wealth of knowledge, being a biologist, being specializing in things like paleontology, uh, predator animals. I mean, he's an absolute authority. And talk about another person who is one of my favorite people on planet Earth. Definitely Ben Woodruff. You will not find a finer, more humble, genuinely loving and sincere human being than Ben Woodruff. And I cannot wait to see his presentation this year. I know he's told us a little bit about it,
Mhm.
what to expect this year, and it's everybody's in for a real treat
Yep.
when Ben gives his presentation.
And speaking of Ben, he has a VIP dinner
Yep.
Wednesday, September 9th at 7 p.m.
Hmm.
And at 9 p.m. Thursday is Night Vision Dark Sky UFO Expedition with Ben Hansen and Mark D'Antonio. That
Hmm.
sounds exciting.
Yep. I'm excited to. I hope I get to meet Mark D'Antonio. My podcasting partner and Hitchhiker Effect bandmate John Nyberger attended a conference about a week or so ago in Colorado called SnippyCon,
Hmm.
which was a conference to I guess Snippy was the very first cattle or horse mutilation that happened in Colorado back in the 1960s. So
Yeah.
they put this conference on every year, and Mark D'Antonio, who I believe is he's one of the photo analysts, and he's like really good at what he does for MUFON. He works for MUFON among other things, and John says that he is absolutely one of the coolest guys. And I guarantee you that activity that you just mentioned, where they're doing the dark skies and doing
Yep.
the sky watching, I guarantee you, with Mark D'Antonio being involved, that's going to be really worth your while.
Yeah. And we also have James Keenan VIP lunch Thursday at 11:45 a.m. James Keenan is pretty cool.
Yeah, I did you ever take his tour that he did out to McConkey Ranch?
Oh yeah, I've done it a few times.
Yeah, he's talking about a guy that's a wealth of knowledge. James Keenan his knowledge of ancient history and cultures and the new subject, well, fairly new subject of forbidden archaeology, if you will. And of course, James was also he was brought on to be a team member up at Blind Frog Ranch, the most current season of Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch,
Yeah.
and James was involved in that. So James, yeah, his presentations are so informative and so insightful, and James is just a really cool guy. On top of that, I think he comes from a law enforcement background originally, so he's very thorough and methodical in the way that he does his research, and it definitely shows. So yeah, big thumbs up for James Keenan.
Yeah, he's the reason why I have pictures of the petroglyphs that you guys can see behind me and Jim currently.
Yep, yep.
And also Thursday at 7:30 p.m. is behind the scenes dinner with Skinwalker Ranch cast. So we will be having dinner with the cast, and they'll be like picking a great episode from the past season, and they'll be talking about it a little bit. So that's always an exciting thing.
That's one of the other, as far as add-on activities go, that's one of the ones that I also never miss is the behind-the-scenes dinner with Skinwalker Ranch, because uh, what a lot of people that watch the show that have never had the privilege of getting to meet any of the team members, they are absolute crack ups. I mean, when they get together, they
Yeah,
bust each other's chops. They roast each other every chance they get. So while you see them on the TV show, they're all very serious and very focused and very driven. When they're in this kind of a setting, they can really kind of let their hair down if any of them actually had hair. I can say that now because I have hair,
it
but
grew out. Yeah,
but no, they're so wonderful to watch them interact with each other. And like you said, Miriam, they will pick a particular episode from this most recent season, in this case season 7 that just finished airing, and they'll give you some kind of behind the scenes, like what didn't make it onto what landed on the editing floor that didn't make it onto the show, that's very relevant and very interesting stuff. And we've learned an awful lot of cool things about the different episodes through the seasons by attending this dinner, because Thomas Winterton once said that out of all the thousands of hours of footage that they film every season, only about 1% of that footage actually makes it on to one of the in any given season. So imagine how much unused footage is out there, and there's a lot of stories that aren't told within that 42 minutes, 43 minutes of an episode. So it's great to have this opportunity, and on top of that, not only do we get this great banter in between the team at this event, but the dinner. It's not quite as good as the Voice of the Believers, because I'm just partial to that. But the dinner for the Skinwalker Ranch behind the scenes is also a first class, first rate dinner.
hmm
Always good stuff, and it's like it's like a 3-course meal that they serve you, and it's just wonderful. So very much worth the time and money. And last I saw, for the first time ever, that event has sold out. The behind the
It
scenes
is.
dinner with Skinwalker Ranch is officially sold out like a month and a half before PhenomeCon arrives, and that
Yeah.
just serves that just serves as testament to how awesome and how in demand this particular event is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And next is VIP lunch with Russell Acord and Dr. Mariah Mayer. That's Saturday at 11:45 a.m.
Yep.
That's And also Thursday, 11:45 is the one and only Pete Kelsey VIP lunch with him.
Pete is a literal rock star, folks. He's
Oh yeah.
not just the imaging specialist and technologist that they bring onto the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Pete is another one of my favorite people.
Yep.
I try not to say that I have favorites for the Skinwalker Ranch team, but I have many favorites on the team, and Pete is undeniably one of them. And little known fact about Pete, Pete actually at one time had hair that was longer than my hair is now, believe it or not. And he was in a touring rock band, and I believe, if I remember correctly, he opened for Cheap Trick and Billy Idol at one point. I mean,
He
it's like
did.
crazy. This guy's story. He is, but on top of that, Pete is just a real good man, a real
Mm-hmm.
good, just a good guy. I mean, all these guys at the ranch. I wish so many people had the opportunity to get to see how awesome these guys really are as people. They're just honestly some of the greatest examples of human beings you could ever hope to meet, and Pete is definitely one of them.
Pete's awesome. Yeah. And another add-on is Beers and Bigfoot with Dr. Mariah Mayer. I know it's
Okay, hold on here. Okay, now, granted, I'm nowheres near as famous as Dr. Mayor, but if she gets beers and Bigfoot, why can't we have tacos with Jim? Right? I mean, come on,
yeah.
we gotta make that happen. Come on, Bridget, PhenomeCon 2027. Tacos with Jim. Tacos with Hitchhiker Effect. There we go. We can do that. I'll get some of my bandmates to join.
Yeah, that would be a good add-on.
Yeah, I guarantee you any add-on activity where Maria is involved is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Truly, that's going to be a blast.
And this next add-on is one of my favorites. A square trip to the perimeter of Skinwalker Ranch. Of course, it's sold out. It's Friday in the morning and Friday night. So it's like you go to the gate with Thomas and Bryant. You get your picture taken in front of the gate, and then they take you at another place, the perimeter, and Thomas shows different places on the ranch from a distance, where Homestead One is, where the command center is, and stuff like that. So it's pretty exciting. I
Yeah,
do it every year.
I've actually never done the perimeter tour.
Mm-hmm.
However, everybody that I've talked to that's done it absolutely loves it. And as you said, it doesn't take you inside the gate for obvious reasons. It's an active scientific investigation that's going on. Plus, there's certain waivers that have to be involved, and there is a very legitimate health risk potential, which is why Brandon Fugel doesn't allow open access to the ranch to the public.
Mm-hmm.
However, I've not yet talked to anybody that took that perimeter tour that did not say it was worth the money. And of course, Thomas and Bryant are two of the best possible guides and
Oh
hosts you could ever hope to have for something like that. And like you said, Miriam, it is usually the very first add-on activity to sell out, and they do it multiple times throughout PhenomeCon, but it sells out like that. It's one of the more expensive add-on activities, but it's one of the most in demand things. And I mean, you've taken the tour, so you can
every
speak to how awesome it is.
It is. It's pretty good, and Bryant Thomas are great hosts, and it's amazing that do it every year. I
Yeah.
think last year they had did it like 3 times last year. I think this time it's only one day they're doing it. So
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah, because
yeah,
I know
it's just
in
Friday
previous
morning,
years.
Friday night.
Okay, cool. Yeah, they I know in the past they've done it multiple days and multiple times.
Yeah.
So yeah, there
The
you go.
first year I went, uh, I was kind of bummed that it was sold out, and then they added an extra day on Sunday, so I immediately jumped on that, and that was my first time doing the perimeter tour.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Sunday because the very first year they did PhenomeCon, now the way it is right now is PhenomeCon Saturday is when the conference ends. There's nothing
Yeah.
planned for Sunday, and it's been like that for the last couple of years. But the very first year of PhenomeCon, they actually had PhenomeCon continued into Sunday, and
Mm-hmm.
it went clear up until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You still had a couple of speakers
Yep.
on Sunday morning and early Sunday afternoon before they convened the conference. So I would we talked about this on my podcast yesterday. We're kind of hoping that PhenomeCon will add one more day just so that you can get everything in, because it's like you look at the schedule of speakers, and there's on some of the days. I think Thursday is a great example. If you look at the schedule for Thursday afternoon, there's like within the same block, when there's breakout sessions and a main presentation being given in the ballroom, I would love to be able to attend three of those going on at the same exact time. But quite obviously, you can only, until I can figure out how to do bilocation or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I,
Clone yourself
I
or something.
yeah, it's like how. I mean, it's just not possible to take in all of these presentations. Like, I would love to see Dustin Eskelson, the Utah director of MUFON, give his presentation, but at the same time, Micah Hanks is giving a presentation. My
Yeah.
bandmate and good friend Micah Hanks. At the same time, it's like, oh man, how do I choose? Because Dustin's my friend and Micah's my friend, and it's like,
Mm.
uh, so yeah, I would love to see them do another day, a 5-day conference. Come on, we'd all we'd all pay for that. We'd all love
Yeah.
that.
Of course, the price would go up, but yeah.
I'd pay it. It's worth it would be worth it.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
Yep.
Okay, next would be lunch with Dr. Mariah. Of course, it's at Wednesday, 11:45 a.m., so that sounds like
Hmm.
a cool lunch. And gallery reading with Cindy Kaza. That's Friday at
Yep.
7:30.
Yeah.
And
Cindy's awesome. Cindy,
mhm.
psychic medium. Um, she's part of that Holzer, not Hoser, Hol Holzer. Jimm can't pronounce things very well. I can't talk so well sometimes.
Holds
But
it, holds it.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, Cindy is amazing. She's anytime that she does like readings or something like that, really really well worth your time to check that out if you can.
Mhm. And next we have a VIP breakfast with Caleb Bench, Friday at 8 a.m. You going,
That's
Jim?
I am. That's okay. There are three add-on activities I never miss. And you already know one is the Voice of the Believers. The
Mm-hmm.
second one is the behind the scenes Skinwalker Ranch dinner. And the
Yep.
third one is whether it's a breakfast or a lunch with my brother Caleb. Caleb Bench is a very dear friend of mine, and he's I got to be honest, he's probably my favorite guy on the ranch. I say I don't have too many favorites, or I have multiple favorites, but Caleb is who I have the closest friendship with.
Mm-hmm.
He's just again, not wanting to sound like a broken record. He's just a decent human being, and just such a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
The experiences that he's had, he and I have had a lot of similar life experiences, so there's a lot of things that we have in common in that regard. And he's always a very gracious host. I mean, Caleb has been on my podcast more than any other member of the Skinwalker Ranch team.
Yeah.
So of course, anything I can do to support Caleb, I'll be there to do it. And I'm looking forward to going to this breakfast.
Yeah. I have thoughts of maybe inviting Caleb on my channel sometime, but I don't know if he'd be available or not. But
Well, certainly not while they're filming.
I'll definitely.
None of the guys can do that while filming is going on. But yeah, just simply reach out to him. I guarantee you, he'd be more than happy to do it for you.
Okay. And the next one, VIP dinner with Amy Bruni. It's
Hmm.
Friday at 7 p.m.
Yep.
And we have a VIP breakfast for a couple of days with Thomas Winterton, Saturday
Hmm.
in the morning, and we also have it on Sunday at 9 a.m. as well.
Yep. And I did the breakfast with Tom Winterton one year,
I did
um,
too. Yep.
and it was a lot of fun. Thomas, like Caleb, which I guess isn't a surprise because they are brother-in-laws.
Yep.
They are just like with Caleb. Thomas is a very excellent, very gracious host, and every restaurant that PhenomeCon picks to do these breakfasts and lunches and dinners with all of these presenters at PhenomeCon, they pick the best places in Vernal. And I'm here to tell you, folks, you wouldn't think because Vernal is a relatively small town compared to a lot of other places, but the food options in Vernal are out of this
Mm-hmm.
world. There are some extraordinary restaurants in Vernal, and there's a couple that I'm not going to tell anybody what they are because they're my little secrets. And
Yep.
I don't want people to 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 get it too busy when I want to go there. But no, there's some amazing restaurants in Vernal, and any of these dinners, lunches, breakfasts, you're gonna get some world class food served at all these places.
Oh yeah. Yep. And this is an activity that I'm going this year. This is my first time doing it. And I'm pretty excited about it. Space Wolf Ranch Expedition Skywatch Anomaly Investigation with Dr. Mariah and David Schrader. Two good people. So I'm
That's going to
excited
be awesome.
about that.
Just by the mere fact that Maria and David Schrader are both going to be involved, that right there is cool enough. And of course, for those of you that don't know, Space Wolf Ranch is the property that is directly adjacent to the south
Yep.
uh, of the ranch. A gentleman by the name of Ryan Burns owns the Space Wolf Research,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm here to tell you, folks, there have been now we've always heard that the strange phenomena and the freaky stuff doesn't happen just on Skinwalker Ranch. It literally happens all over the basin.
Fire
But
base. Yep.
yeah, but because Space Wolf Research is right directly on the border, the southern border of Skinwalker Ranch, you can imagine that phenomena also trickles over onto Ryan's property as well, and
Yep.
he has got an absolute wealth of experiences that he can tell you that are both,
I listened to him on the podcast. He's amazing. He had pretty interesting encounters.
yeah, yeah. There's some pretty amazing stuff that he's captured on film and video, and just the stories that he can tell you will turn you, I mean, I'm already pretty white as it is, but you listen to some of Ryan's encounters, and you'll turn ghost white because it's yeah, that will be. And you said you're doing this activity.
Yep. This is my first time doing it, so I'm excited.
I think you're going to love it. I'm really going to want to hear what you thought of it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You'll be seeing footage too.
Awesome.
It's like $100, but it's worth it. So it was my
Oh
first time. I thought
yeah.
I'd try something different this year. So
Yep.
and
Yep.
next is VIP lunch with Dr. Travis Taylor. That's Friday at 11:45 a.m. And Wednesday at 6:15 p.m. is the petroglyph exploration with James Keenan. That's one of my favorites as well. I love that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. The
He's going
I
to
think
a
it was.
different place this year, I think.
Yeah, I saw he's not doing McConkey Ranch or McCoy Flats.
No,
Uh,
it's something else he's
it's,
doing.
it's someplace else. So, but again, folks, James Keenan is an authority on the subject,
Hmm.
and he is such an amazing tour guide when it comes to stuff like that. So that's also time and money well spent going out with James Keenan.
Oh yeah, it's worth it. I've gone several times with him. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And another add-on activity, I did this last year, it's a lot of fun, is the UFO Valley Campground night sky viewing and bonfire. That's a lot of fun. We roasted marshmallows, we looked at the mesa. It was a beautiful night we did last year, so it's worth it. That's Thursday at 7:30 p.m.
Cool.
And I think Wednesday at 9 p.m. and Thursday is a downtown ghost hunt. I guess downtown Vernal, there's like a ghost hunt. I've never been on those. I know Jeff
Yep.
Freeman has, and on Friday as well is
Yeah.
uh, is the ghost hunt.
Yep. Yep. I think yeah, Jeff. I know Jeff has done the ghost hunt at least once, and if I remember correctly, he enjoyed the experience quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, B. Morris says take hiking boots. So if you ever go on the petroglyph hikes, make sure you got good shoes. No thongs or nothing, because if you go climb uphill, that's going to be very
Oh,
difficult.
I can't wear a thong? Oh, come on, that's
No,
not
no
fair.
thongs. No. Well, you can, but it's going to be pretty treacherous going up the
Yeah.
hikes.
No,
I
no,
can't.
and Barb is absolutely right, because and hello, Barb, by the way, can't wait to see you. Um, the when I can only speak to McConkey Ranch because that's the only James Keenan tour that I took, but when we signed up for it, they said it was a very easygoing, not quite really a full moderate type of a hike,
Hmm.
and we
It's
got
really
there, and of course I didn't have any problems with it, and I was able to get through the whole hike with no problem. But my podcasting partner Roger, he had just recently had heart surgery, and he was thinking, well, this, that shouldn't, they said it's an easy hike, I should be able to handle it, and Roger was not able to handle it. So if you're somebody that has mobility issues or isn't in very good physical shape, you might want to rethink. Now, again, I don't know what James Keenan's doing this year, but at least as far as it pertained to McCoy Flats and McConkey Ranch, it's definitely more of a moderate, upper level of moderate kind of a hike when you're doing that. And like Barb says, wear the proper footwear. Don't wear sandals. Wear a good pair of sneakers, tennis shoes, whatever you choose to call them, or hiking boots. Just do so wisely, because you'll regret it if you don't.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And McConkey Ranch is where first met you and Roger.
Yes,
And
yes, I
Roger,
remember.
right?
I remember that was still one of my favorite memories of PhenomeCon, was that tour. Yep.
Yeah, I was worried about Roger once we were at the very top. I'm like, take your
Hmm.
time getting down, please.
Yeah. Yes, yes, indeed.
Hmm. And
Now
next,
go ahead.
go
No,
ahead,
go
go ahead.
ahead. I was just going to say, now there is another activity. It's not an
Mhm.
add-on activity, but if you're a Skinwalker Ranch insider, we of course have to do a little self-promotion here for the Skinwalker Ranch insider community.
Mhm.
Um, every year at PhenomeCon since 2022, Roger and I have hosted a special private event. It's not affiliated officially with PhenomeCon, but we hold it during the PhenomeCon week, if you will, and it's a little get together that we do strictly for Skinwalker Ranch insiders that we call the Skinwalker Ranch Insider Family Reunion.
Yep.
And I'll tell you why we call it that in just a minute. But what it is, it's when Roger and I attended the very first year of PhenomeCon, there wasn't really, even though Skinwalker Ranch plays a central role and is one of the biggest attractions for people coming to PhenomeCon. There's a very big Skinwalker Ranch presence all throughout the week at PhenomeCon. There wasn't really anything that was organized to make it to allow Skinwalker Ranch insiders to meet up and really get to spend quality time getting to know each other. We spend all this time getting to know each other online, but here we have this opportunity to meet each other in person. And so Roger and I, the second year of PhenomeCon, we decided that we would take the initiative and set up our own private event strictly for Skinwalker Ranch insiders. That would be an opportunity for them to meet together in a very safe place where we could enjoy good food and some drinks and great conversation and just, get to know each other. And so that's where we came up with what is now called the Skinwalker Ranch Insider Family Reunion. And this will be the fifth year that we've done this. Now, the only downside to that is that space, of course, is very, very strictly limited. We cap it at about 120 people, and we've filled the capacity every year. We currently still have several people on a waiting list, hoping to get in this year. But the reason we call it the Skinwalker Ranch Insider Family Reunion is because, and Miriam, you can perhaps attest to this,
Hmm.
PhenomeCon, the reason why we keep going back to PhenomeCon is because of the people that we meet and the friendships that we form at
Yeah.
PhenomeCon. I never knew Miriam prior to PhenomeCon. She was a Skinwalker Ranch insider, and I would see her posting on the Skinwalker Ranch insider site and other places, but I didn't get to know Miriam in person until PhenomeCon. So you get to form these friendships, and these are people that will become lifelong friends because some of you have shared experiences. And if you're somebody that has ever experienced some kind of aspect of the unexplained, whether it's UAP related, Sasquatch, ghosts, you name it, we all have at least a passing interest in these things, and we're at least casual believers. Many of us, like you and I, are experiencers.
Yeah.
And there's just something special about when you have people that have a shared experience. Even if it's not the same exact kind of experience, you know that the world and the universe, your worldview, just changes when you're an experiencer. And when you have an opportunity to socialize and get to meet people that have had these similar kind of shared experiences, there's nothing like it. And that makes all the money that we spend on going to PhenomeCon worth it, because these are memories and these are friendships that it literally does become to feel like a family. Like, I consider all of my bandmates in Hitchhiker Effect, they are my brothers. We may have different mothers, but we are definitely we become such good friends that John Nyberger, Johnny Stratton, Micah Hanks, Caleb Hanks, I mean, Jay Stratton, Travis Taylor, these guys are my brothers as well as my friends. And
Yeah.
and that none of that would have been possible had it not been for A, the Skinwalker Ranch Insider Program, and B, PhenomeCon. So if you are a Skinwalker Ranch insider and you're learning about this for the first time, then just be ready for next year. Now, again, we do still have a wait list for the family reunion, so there is still a possibility you might still be able to get in if there's cancellations that happen. But at least for next year, if you're a Skinwalker Ranch insider, cannot obviously I'm biased and doing a shameless plug here. But the Skinwalker Ranch Insider Family Reunion is the perfect way to ease into the PhenomeCon experience, because once Wednesday arrives, it just turns into a madhouse, a very
Oh,
good a good kind of madness and good chaos. But having that one chance on Tuesday evening to get together before the rat race begins is
yeah.
so nice. And if any of your audience have ever attended the reunion, then they know what we're talking about. But it is very much a family like we're a very close knit community, and we lean on each other. We love and appreciate each other, and that's what this particular event, which again, it's not an add-on activity. It's not officially
Separate.
affiliated with PhenomeCon. It's just a private event that Roger and I organize every year for the Skinwalker Ranch Insiders, and it's kind of become a much bigger than we ever thought it would, which just speaks to how awesome the insider community really is.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've been an insider since 2022, so it's been a great experience
Yeah.
so far.
Yep. Yep.
So we also have a VIP breakfast with Chris Roberts Thursday at 8 a.m. And we have a dinner with the one and only Russell Acord, Friday at 7 p.m.
Uh-huh.
And Friday 11:45 is another lunch with Bryant.
Cool.
And Greg Lawson has his own VIP dinner Wednesday at 7 p.m. He's the announcer at PhenomeCon, isn't he?
Yeah, Greg Lawson is the MC of PhenomeCon. He's been the MC for at least, I want to say this is the third year that they've had him. This the second or third year that he's been the MC, and he's been my favorite one thus far. And Greg is just such a cool guy. He comes from a law enforcement background. He works in the Texas Department of Public Safety, which basically like the state police for Texas, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, and what Greg does is Greg teaches other law enforcement officials and agencies in the state of Texas to improve their investigative and research techniques. So he's like a professor for detectives. And Greg's nickname, by the way, happens to be the Paranormal Detective. And he's a fantastic author. He's written a number of amazing books. He's kind of a no-nonsense guy, but the guy has the coolest sense of humor. And he's one of my favorite people to talk to and to listen to at PhenomeCon. And I've not had the chance to. Well, actually, I did have dinner with him at the Voice of the Believers one time, and that was an absolute blast. But Greg is a great guy. I love the guy. He's an awesome guy.
And the last add-on I'll be going to is VIP breakfast with Russell Acord Thursday at 8 a.m. So I'm excited to see him again.
Yep.
Do a breakfast with him.
Yeah, and you also mentioned Chris Roberts. Chris Roberts is another one of my people at the ranch that I'm good friends with and just think the world of. Chris, of course, is he describes himself as a xenoarchaeologist. That's an archaeologist that looks into strange and unexplained things, right? And that definitely qualifies for Skinwalker Ranch. But Chris is another amazing human being. I've had the privilege of helping him record and produce some of his demos. Chris is an exceptionally gifted singer and songwriter. In fact, of the almost 40 years that I've been in the music industry, Chris is probably one of the most gifted songwriters I've ever had the pleasure of working with. So on top of his ridiculous talent as an archaeologist, he's very, very well respected in the archaeology community, and rightly so. He is absolutely brilliant, a brilliant mind, but just an absolute salt of the earth, wonderful human being. And he's another guy that I'm so blessed and fortunate to count as a friend. And if you have an opportunity to meet Chris, you're going to absolutely love him. You will fall in love with him every bit as much as me and the rest of my podcasting team has. He's just such a good guy.
Cool. Yeah. So that wraps up the add-ons for PhenomeCon. So what do you think, speaking about the past show, Season 7, what did you think about this past season of Secrets to Skinwalker Ranch?
Well, I'll tell you what I really liked about it. I really liked the fact that this, perhaps more than any previous season, really focused heavily on scientific experiments and data. Now, obviously, everything they're doing out there is scientific and data-driven, but we seem to be focusing more on those little things this season than perhaps we have in previous seasons. So I really, I'm somebody who likes that kind of thing. I like the boring stuff, as a lot of people call it, because I like seeing data to back up the hypotheses that they formulate. And of course, this season did not disappoint in the slightest, especially them getting confirmation on some of the things regarding not only the mesa, but the bubble. How can anybody not be absolutely fascinated and impressed by the things that they have uncovered? And
especially when they did the smoke experiment too, with
oh
how
yeah,
the smoke was, and that was something new they did.
yeah. And now that we know, I mean, I don't know if it's safe to say that it's been confirmed, but it sure looks that way. That quite obviously there was a cover-up of some kind involving the mesa that happened between 1964 and what, 1968? So
something around that.
Yeah, so
remember that thing that Pete found in the last episode he shared.
Well, there's that Pete found, and then also remember Chris in the spoils pulled out that nickel that was what, 1964, 1963 or something like that, and how that is kind of like that's just kind of like a thing that archaeologists do. Anytime that they do a dig anywhere, they will bury, once they fill everything back in, they will bury a coin from that particular year that they're doing the dig. And so they found that in the spoils of some of the digs that they did on the mesa. But, it clearly shows when they showed the satellite photo comparison. You look at the mesa imaging from 1963, and then mysteriously, the all the public records and all of the aerial photography of the mesa that's supposed to be done by the U.S. Geological Survey
Hmm.
between 1964 and 67 or 68, whatever, whenever that gap of about 4 or 5 years is missing. It's not there.
Yep.
And it's like there's
That's
no
kind of weird.
explanation. Yeah, but then there's also, here's the other thing, and I love it when they're able to refer to something that happened in a previous season. And that happened because if you recall, I think it was season 2 or 3, they brought a gentleman on the ranch who was an explosives expert, and he took a look at the mesa, and it was an episode where I think they had Chris Bartell come on as well. And this explosive expert said, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that mesa was purposely collapsed. It doesn't look like it was natural erosion and seismic activity, because of course, in the Uinta Basin there is a fairly consistent amount of seismic activity. Not like big earthquakes and tumblers and things like that, but I recall, and they actually called it out in the final episode of this most recent season, where, yeah, remember the guy that we brought on the ranch and said that the mesa looked like it was purposely collapsed deliberately. That now seems to substantiate everything that we've now learned in this last season and a half on the mesa, that's what's happened here. And of course, how awesome is it that we now have Jan Franke, who has come in and has done additional scanning inside the mesa with GPR. I mean, again, how can people not be absolutely flabbergasted and fascinated by what we saw transpire in this most recent season? And the thing to think about, folks, is that all happened last year. They just now this week started filming what will become season 8, which will probably come out in about 7 or 8 months from now. But again, I mean, I don't see how people aren't fascinated and drawn in by the discoveries that have been made and the confirmations that have been made this last year. And I apologize, I've got a thunderstorm rolling in, so it's
Oh,
we got thunder out there. If you happen to hear that.
you guys are finally getting rain.
Finally, yes, we've gotten rain the last couple of days. Actually, it's been quite nice, but we're still in a really horrible drought, the worst drought ever on record in the state of Utah. So any moisture we can get, we'll take.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I came across this. I'm sure you've seen it too. Brandon posted this on X, a picture of them with Bigelow and George Knapp. So it makes me
Yeah.
wonder what they're doing there.
So, folks, if you haven't had a chance to do it yet, Bob Bigelow now has his own podcast. The previous owner of Skinwalker Ranch, the guy that owned it before Brandon Fugel, Bob has always kind of been like this enigmatic figure that not a lot of people hear from very often. Well, now Bob is doing his own podcast, and George Knapp has been the moderator or the host, if you will, of the first. I think there's 3 or 4 episodes that are available now on YouTube. But
Mm-hmm.
Bob he's finally starting to open up and share not only some of the things that he experienced on Skinwalker Ranch while he owned the ranch, and while the big period of research when during the OSAP era, again, Jim Lukaski, Colm Kelleher, and Jay Stratton. But he's also talked about his Bigelow Institute for Consciousness Studies, which is really fascinating. So if we finally have an opportunity, and that photo right there is, it's historic just in the fact that it's Brandon Fugel, the current owner of
Yep.
Skinwalker Ranch, with Bob Bigelow, the previous owner, getting both of those two gentlemen in the same room with
That would
George
be
Knapp.
interesting. Yep.
That's an iconic photo right there, and I'm hoping that we get a podcast episode with Brandon and Bob Bigelow together in the same episode, because that would be mind blowing. So Brandon, I hope hope we get to see that happen.
I think the online chat would crash after that.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. That would be, millions of views, you would think.
Oh yeah. So to conclude today, I'll be reading a couple of people that shared their encounters. They're like UFO encounters.
Cool.
So I'll go with the first one. She wants to remain anonymous. She says,
I
"Hi,
know
Mary."
an anon. I know. I think I know. I think I know anonymous. I've met a lot of anonymous people.
Oh, okay, okay. So Anonymous says, "Hi Miriam, my story took place March 1st of 2023 on a Navajo reservation at 2:17 a.m. I was driving home just a mile from a small town. To the east came a UFO floating behind a small hill. I immediately stopped right on the highway. There was no traffic at the time that I stopped. The UFO also stopped in midair. It was about half a mile east of the highway. It was about 3,000 feet in the air. It appeared rectangular shape. The lights rotated clockwise. It was a college of different lights, pastels, soft colors, nothing bright or brash. I'm guessing the length of a half football field. I
Oh
watched
wow.
it for 6 minutes and decided to leave. It floated east as soon as I started to drive off. That was a
Hmm.
pretty interesting UFO encounter.
I can't even imagine what that's got to be like. I mean, I remember, speaking of Brandon Fugel, I always go back to his account of when he again crossed that threshold from being a casual believer to being an experiencer. And of course, in his case, he saw an actual, like this one, a nuts and bolts craft just a couple 100 feet above him, and he's like, when something just happens to you, something in you fundamentally changes
Yeah.
when you see and experience something like this. Like Travis Taylor has said many times at PhenomeCon, when you experience these things firsthand, it breaks your perception of reality. And so I can imagine that this person that you just read the account from, that they probably experienced something very akin to that when they saw that.
Oh yeah. Yep. And our one of our moderators, Kim, actually shared a story that she sent me. So I'll be reading
Hmm.
hers. So she said, "My encounter, this is from Kim Schilling. I was 15 years old, and about a year prior, we had built a house on Lake Tansy along the man made lake. Lake Tansy is located in a highly wooded area on the Cumberland Plateau, just about 20 miles outside of Crossville, Tennessee. My boyfriend Ronnie had spent the day at our house. We canoed around the lake earlier in the day and settled inside at dinner time. Around 10 p.m., my mom was supposed to take him home, so of course I rode with her so I had a few more minutes with Ronnie, and my mom wouldn't be alone coming home. In fact, I don't think it would have been any other way because my mom never liked driving at night. We sat in the back seat together on the 10-mile drive to his house, and once we pulled in his driveway, I got out and moved to the front seat. It was a clear, still night, not hot out, so I had the window cracked to let some fresh air in. The drive over here and back is all back roads, and some are even gravel. We know all the shortcuts. We were about 2 miles away from home on the way back. We passed along the golf course, and the only sound I heard were the sprinklers watering the grass. My mom always turned off that road early on onto a cut through gravel road that connected the golf course to the lakeside road where we lived. If my memory serves me correctly, it was called Cherokee Trail. It's probably only about a mile between the two roads. It's flat without any homes on it, just pine trees as far as you can see. The stars were out and my mom turned the car. We were almost home. It seemed to be the end of a perfect day. The car stopped suddenly about a quarter mile in. I looked at my mom, and she was stretched over the top of her steering wheel looking up. So I looked out the window where she was staring. There were no words, just quiet. My mom turned her headlights out, no longer moving. I thought she turned the car off, but I don't know this. In hindsight, maybe it died. As we sat there, I was in awe at this craft, round and silverish in color, just hovering above the pine trees. At a glance, I did notice the trees were perfectly still. I really thought maybe at first it was a helicopter doing some sort of rescue or training, but my window was down halfway and I heard nothing, and it was difficult to see because the white lights around the circumference of the craft were so bright. Now I'm going from curious to scared. It just sat there like they were watching us, observing us. I'm thinking to myself, we're the only ones out here. Why would they want us? My heart was now pounding so hard in my chest I could feel it and hear it in my ears. It must have been just long enough to have a few fleeting thoughts because I only had enough time to go from curious to frightened. Then the craft began to spin around in circles, and the brilliant white lights that had been flooding the woods turned into many colors as the craft spun several times rapidly and was gone. In the blink of an eye, we couldn't even see which direction it left in. It just disappeared as quickly as it had appeared. I don't know if my mom was just in shock or trying to make sure we were safe from this thing. But we sat there for another minute or so before the headlights came on and she started the car. We drove home in silence. I don't think either one of us knew what to say. We just shared an experience that nobody is ever going to believe. It's 1982. When we got home, my mom went inside and followed her, and I followed her back, but came back with a chair. I sat in the front yard for over an hour, just hoping to see it again. I had no idea what I would do if I did, other than trying to get a picture on my disc camera that was a new invention in those days. I just wanted proof of what we saw so somebody would believe us. I remember drawing a picture of it so I would remember the details to the saucer. I knew the mere size of it could have sucked us up, car and all. I
Wow.
often wonder what happened to that picture because it was a pretty good liking. I wouldn't be surprised if my mom found it years later and threw it away, because every time I mentioned that night to her in front of someone, she'd say, I don't know what we saw that night, trying to dismiss the experience to the day she passed. I think it kind of collided with her spiritual beliefs she grew up with. What's even stranger about that night is the memory of it never faded back like most childhood memories do. I still see it in my mind's eye as clear as the craft and skies that night. I've had a fascination with the paranormal my entire life, and it does seem to follow me, but I've learned how to protect myself over the years from demonic NFTs and hitchhikers, thanks to my Native American friends. Anyway, that's pretty much what happened, and I absolutely know what we saw. So that's from King Schilling.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's a
Yeah.
really amazing encounter. One of the things that stood out to me as you were reading that,
Hmm.
a lot of the encounters that I've read about and that I've heard, particularly when it comes to UAPs and Bigfoot encounters,
Yeah.
is the fact that like right before the incident happens, it's like somebody turns off all the sound in nature. It's like
Mm.
you always, and anytime you're outdoors, even if you're out in the middle of nowhere, there's always some modicum of ambient background noise, right?
Yeah.
It just you're just your ears just get accustomed to it. But you hear so many people that will see a UAP or will see a Sasquatch or some other anomalous event. And one of the things that they have in common is they talk about how right before I saw it, it was like somebody hit the mute button on nature. It's like everything just went completely still. There
Mm-hmm.
wasn't so much as a breeze. There wasn't anything. It was just complete and total silence and stillness, like this eerie stillness. And so I've heard that in a lot of accounts, and that this account of Kim's seems to kind of have that commonality as well. But I myself I've never seen a UAP, certainly not an instance like that. I've seen some things in the sky that might have been anomalous, but I'm just not a trained observer when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, I can't imagine. Again, we spoke about how in the voice of the believers, how there's like a shared trauma, and it sounds like there was maybe a little bit of that between Kim and her mom. Because let's also bear this in mind, is that older generation, the people that would have grown up in the World War II era,
Hmm.
maybe a little bit into the boomers,
Baby boomer generation.
the
Yeah.
silent generation, all the older, early to mid 20th century. Those people didn't the culture didn't allow them to talk about stuff like this, because most people just flat out wouldn't have believed them, and they would have dismissed them as being crazy. And so there was that stigma was alive and well, I'm sure, back in that time, from what Kim was talking about. And even if it happened recently, there's still a stigma involved, particularly for people of the older generations. I'm a proud Gen Xer, child of the 70s and 80s, but the people that preceded the Generation X, the Boomers, the Silent Generation, the Greatest Generation, um, it just wasn't their thing to want to talk about it, to want to confront it, to talk about openly what they experienced. So that was a fantastic story. Thank you, Kim, for putting
Yeah.
that down. That's great to loved hearing that. That's awesome, and hats off to you for having the courage to share that.
Yeah. Thank you guys for those who shared their encounters. And if anybody else has an encounter, just message me on Facebook, and I'll be glad to either read it, or if you'd like to come on the podcast and share your encounter, you're
Hmm.
welcome to do that as well.
Yeah, and ditto. I mean, I run the Soul of the Unexplained podcast here on YouTube, and just like with Miriam, if you ever want to share with us an encounter or an experience that you had, reach out to me or to John Nyberger, Roger Stokes, any Johnny Stratton, any of us. Trust me, we are all experiencers, so we know what it's like, and we completely offer a safe space, judgment free, just like Miriam does. So take advantage of Miriam's offer. If you're somebody that wants to talk to somebody and get this out there, because one thing you'll find is that, as anomalous as these incidents are, I think we're finding out that they happen a lot more frequently and to a lot more people than we've ever realized. And how is that not exciting? That's one of the great side benefits, I think, of this whole disclosure movement, is more people are willing to come forward and talk about the trippy and bizarre phenomena that's happened to them. And I think it's a great time to be alive in that regard.
Yeah, and in closing, here in Connecticut, I've known we've had weird encounters with possible Bigfoots, and this type of sighting that happened, I think it was July 4th or 5th. This was the day after a freaky storm and fireworks, so I'm pretty sure this is why this individual had a Class A sighting of of a Bigfoot about 7 to 10 feet tall crossing the road. This is from 13 minutes from my house, so that sighting just confirms all the activity that we've had over the years at our place, and it confirms a lot. A lot of people are. We keep to ourselves out here. Nobody really is willing to share, but it's becoming more open after that Class A sighting. So it puts Voluntown, Connecticut on the map for Bigfoot sightings.
That's just too cool. I think that's awesome. Again, what a great time to be alive, to watch all these great stories coming out and living in the age of disclosure, right?
That's,
As I always like to say, is we're kind of in the tail end of the age of disclosure. I
mhm.
think the next phase is the age of acknowledgement, where we're going to have the U.S. government, somebody like the president, is eventually going to come out and acknowledge, yes, we are not alone, either in the universe or on this planet, and it's been that way for a while. So I think that acknowledgement is going to come eventually, and I think it'll come sooner than later. And
Yeah.
again, what a great time to be alive to watch this all unfold
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and to
Oh,
talk about it on your podcast. I mean, thank
exactly.
you.
Yes. Be
Thank
very
you for
open.
ask. for asking me and my hyper spastic self to come on and talk about these things.
Sure, anytime.
I love talking about this stuff. Love talking about PhenomeCon, and just so thank you for the wonderful gracious invite to let me come on here and probably scare some of your viewers.
No, no, we would scare them. Thank you for accepting the invite, and it's always great to have you on.
Anytime, always a pleasure to come on.
So thank you guys for all of who viewed, and thank you to Kim and the other individual who shared their UFO encounter. And I hope for those going to PhenomeCon, hope to see you there. You'll meet Jimm, and you meet me, and yeah, have a good night, folks.
Yes, indeed. We'll see you at PhenomeCon. See ya.
Bye.